Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show. I'm glad to have you guys here. Today is the 20th, Wednesday the 20th of May, 2020, and welcome. Now listen, let's get started. Let's open up the charts right here. Look at this article. Here's why you should save your stimulus check for retirement. Well, most of the people out there, I would say the great majority, I'd say probably 99% of the people out there have needed to use their stimulus check to live on. Quite seriously. If they hadn't had that stimulus check, an awful lot of people out there just wouldn't have been able to buy food right now. But yeah, there are a few people out there who possibly could afford to actually save their stimulus check. But you know what? If they go to save it for retirement with the Fed printing money like it is right now, by the time they get to retirement age, that stimulus check is going to be worth a big fat zero if they save it in anything that's related to dollars. So I don't think that's a good idea right there to save your stimulus check for retirement unless you're saving it out of the dollar. Because the dollar's going down and everything that's connected to the dollar is going to go down with it. The Fed's already told everybody that they're just going to create as many dollars as they need to, as many dollars as they want to. And you know what's coming next down the pike? It's not very long from now either. Is a basic income of one form or another. Because they got 50 million people right now who are unemployed, at least 50 million people that are unemployed. And at least half of them aren't going to get their jobs back. Now, I'm being gracious when I say half of them. It's probably more like 70% of them will not get their jobs back. And this is enough of a group of people, let's just say 30 million of them will not get their jobs back. You cannot possibly, that's in the United States alone, that's not counting here in Canada or in the United Kingdom or other different countries. You cannot possibly have that many people within a country who do not have a means to support themselves. Because it would lead ultimately to, well, can you imagine 30 million homeless people? I mean, it's just, it would be an untenable situation. So we're coming to that point very soon because so far they've been living off of these stimulus checks that they've been receiving, and they've been living off of the benefits that come from unemployment insurance and so on. But all these things are going to start to run out, and they're all going to run out at a simultaneous point not too far in the future. So what I'm predicting is going to come is some sort of a basic income for these people to help carry them through this period of joblessness in the United States, which is actually greater and more powerful than the Great Depression. During the Great Depression era, we had a GDP of 26.7% negative. We just went from around 0 or 1% GDP right down to minus 40 right now. We're at minus 40 GDP. I mean, unemployment right now is more than 20. It's more than 20%. I know their numbers are, but if you really counted the unemployment in the United States, it's somewhere past 20%. You know, it's going to grow because this kind of a thing that's happening right now makes people not want to spend their money. They only spend their money on necessities when we're in this kind of a situation we're in right now. They're not adding more credit to themselves. They're not going out and spending frivolously anymore. You're going to see places like amusement parks and stuff, they're just not going to have the people in there because these are frills. These are things that people buy when they have good times and they got a little bit extra money in the bank and they might have received a pay raise and they're working and everything. They decide, hey, we're going to head out to Six Flags, this afternoon. That's not going to happen this summer. You're going to hear crickets. If they decide to open up a place like Six Flags, you're going to hear crickets. You'll have no problem getting on the Ferris wheel or on the on your amusement park ride. No wait. They might open up these parks, but it's gonna be very very slow. Because the economy is extremely slow, and ultimately, what does this lead to? It leads to even more people losing their jobs and an increase in unemployment again. So this is the only answer. They're going to have to continue to actually carry everything, because now is different than the Great Depression. During the Great Depression, they couldn't create money like they're creating it now. They couldn't do that. The money was pegged to gold. Now, because there's no peg to gold, 1971, Nixon took us off the gold standard. They're free to print as much as they want. And believe me, now they're doing it. They're doing it, and they're going to support the entire system with this funny money. So what we got coming right ahead, what we got starting right away, is what's called the acceleration phase. It's the lead into hyperinflation. And what the acceleration phase does is you actually see prices increasing very rapidly during the acceleration phase. And that's the phase when people start to lose confidence in the purchasing power of their dollars, is in this acceleration phase. And normally in a hyperinflation, the acceleration phase can last up to 3 years. But in this case, with the situation that's happening, it's accelerating the acceleration phase, leading into the hyperinflation. So this is where we stand. Let's take a look at the gold and silver price today. We're only going to see, I think, over the next couple years, gold and silver continue to rise and rise. And, because they're starting to hyperinflate the system, because they're offering unlimited support, we're seeing that reflected in the markets. Before this Fed and that last Fed announcement, when they've made their decision to go full forward into modern monetary theory, I was expecting some sort of a stock market decline, maybe even a crash. But now that they're going full hog into full modern monetary theory, and they're going to just keep pumping that money, they're letting you know they're just going to keep pumping that money out there. The stock market is just loving this right now. And so's gold and silver. In fact, gold and silver, considering what's going on, gold and silver is being the rise in price in gold and silver is being very, very slow and hesitating. Really, we should see it rising even faster than what it is. We're looking at silver up 17.48 today. It's up $3.90. For gold, that's gold, 17.48, up $3.90. And silver on the day is up, it's 17.51, it's up 17 cents. They're lagging behind. Considering what's happening right now, we're going into the acceleration phase for a hyperinflation. Gold and silver are actually lagging behind. They need to get moving. They need to go up even faster. They need to keep up with the stock market, which is going to start taking off with this hyperinflation as well. They're hyperinflating the currency. There's no end to how high these things can go. There's no end to how much things can cost. We could get to the point where it's $1 million for a tomato. And we get to that point, you're going to see the stock market go up like 30,000, 40,000, 50. There's no end to how high it can go. And the same with gold and silver. Just picture it. If you got 100% inflation every 24 hours, it means your dollar's only worth half as much as it was the day before. And somebody comes to you and you got a gold coin, are you going to trade him for dollars? Because the very next day, if you just wait one day, you could get twice as much. And wait the next day, you get twice as much again. You're not going to sell. You're going to hang on to that gold coin no matter what he offers you. Unless he offers you some sort of a ridiculously high offer, And then you're going to take that currency out and try to get rid of it as fast as you can. Try to buy into something else that's going to hold its value. Anything. This is what happens. People try to get rid of their currency as fast as they possibly can during a hyperinflation, because the next day it's not going to be worth as much as it is today. Once this actually starts, once the ball actually gets rolling on this, it's impossible for the Fed to stop it. What are they going to do? Print more money? That's just going to make it worse. Okay, so we're looking at cryptocurrency today. 268.2 billion. Let me refresh the page. 260 billion. So it's fallen a little bit right now. Cryptocurrency starting to fall. A Bitcoin dominance is 66.8%. The Bitcoin price is 94.81. It's fallen rather rapidly right now at this moment. It's just started to fall in the last hour. Let's take a look at the Dow Jones. It's up 338 points. Okay, 347 points. 24,554. Now let's take a look at oil. Crude oil is $33.13. It's up $1.17 on the day, or 3.66%. So we've been seeing a rise in crude price lately. You know, it's getting back up there quite good, considering it was negative $37. U.S. Treasuries today. We're looking at falling yields all the way across the board. We're getting the biggest fall in the yields on the long end. We're looking at 0.7 on the U.S. 10-year, and we're looking at 1.42 on the U.S. 30-year today. Now let's take a look at the U.S. dollar index. 99.20 on the U.S. dollar index. I'm going to tell you guys something. Let me turn the charts off, and I'll just say one thing before I end this show. The most dangerous thing out there right now in the entire world, more dangerous than the nuclear weapons that Russia has in the United States. This is something that's far more dangerous, is if the world's central banks right now were to decide to stop monetary policy, stop easing. If they were to decide to just stop, just quit. We're going to quit. We're not going to do any more stimulus. We're just going to, of course, we know they're not going to do this. But if if all the central banks were to say, okay, you people out there, we're going to do it the hard way. We're going to cleanse the system of all of the debt, and we're just going to let everything implode on itself. For humanity, that would be the most dangerous thing that could ever happen. And because what would happen is everything would just basically stop and collapse. So this should tell you what kind of power that the central banks hold right now. They hold the power to hold the system together. And they are not going to let the core of the system stop functioning. The core of the system is like too big to fail institutions and everything else. They're going to support them no matter what it takes. It's because they have to. It's just the same thing. You guys, for years now, you know about the debt ceiling in the United States. And then there's always a big to-do. They're always like, well, are they going to raise the debt ceiling? You know, and everybody's like, oh, if they don't raise the debt ceiling, it's going to be a crisis and everything. And everybody's scared because they're not sure if they're going to be able to pass it in time and all this kind of stuff, right? But what always happens in the end? They always raise it higher. They always raise the bar higher. Well, this is the same game going on now. They cannot let the core of the system collapse because it's unimaginable, the consequences. And what's happened is this core of the system out there right now is gone exponential. It means it requires more and more debt to service the debt, to keep it running. It requires more and more and more. And it's gone exponential in the fact that it's going up really fast what it requires. And so they have to keep pumping the money out faster and faster and faster in order to keep the core of the system up and running. And this is, there's only two options here. Either you keep going, either you keep on that treadmill and keep pumping those dollars out there, or you don't, you let it collapse. You can't let it collapse. So they have to keep going. They have to keep pumping those dollars out there. And that's going to, there's no other way for it to go. It has to lead to a hyperinflation in the end. And so that's written into the cards. That's what's going to happen. It has to be hyperinflation. Otherwise, if they default, the whole system comes crashing down. And everything comes crashing down with it. Thank you guys for listening. Give me a thumbs up. We'll catch you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.